Hi guys! We just woke up from some naps. Lassie is almost 10 months old now, so we finally felt like we were ready to share our birth story. So we don't normally make videos like this on this channel, but I have so many friends asking questions about my natural labor, so I decided to share my story. I say next time around I'm going to ask for the epidural right away, but I know so many moms out there that did a natural birth as well and felt so empowered and so good. Trust me, I feel so strong and happy that I got to experience it this way, but my experience was traumatic for me. Again, that was only because of the pain I was in, not because of anything else that went on around me. The nurses were incredible. My family, my friends that were there supporting me were insanely strong for me. What's interesting about my natural labor is that I made almost virtually no noise the entire time. And I think that's just how I react to things. I removed myself. I went through this meditative out-of-body experience where I just did not make much noise.
She's very calm. Oh, she's been zen this whole freaking time. I don't know where she gets it from. Not her mother.
Although I did make very strong breathing sounds while I was going through contractions. So this was my first pregnancy, my first birth experience. I had no clue what to expect. I think I must have asked like 20 other moms out there their birth story. Everybody's was totally different, and everybody told me the same thing. Your birth is going to be completely different than anybody else's, and they were right. So I'll tell you that right now. If you're ready to give birth and you have no idea what to expect, don't worry. As long as baby is here and healthy, you're here and healthy, that's all that matters. So I'm a type A person. I planned out my entire birth plan, top to bottom. I said exactly what I wanted them not to do, exactly what I wanted them to do. All of that was thrown out the window once I started going through hard labor. Let's start with how the day began. Dada. Yes, Dada was there. It was January 23rd, her birthday. I was 3 days overdue, and I was feeling extremely uncomfortable. I was doing everything in my power to go into labor. I drank apple cider vinegar. I walked as much as I could. I was told, eat Italian food, eat spicy food, eat Chinese food. I ate it all, still nothing. And I even moved furniture because people said, yeah, if you move furniture, that's gonna put you into labor. She wanted to come when she wanted to come. Your baby will get here when they want to get here, huh? It had just turned January 23rd, midnight. I was taking a shower because these days, I don't know, we were just staying up really late. I remember just sobbing in the shower, just saying, you know, give me a sign. Give me a sign, give me something. I was so frustrated. And it was January 23rd, which was my grandmother's birthday, my dad's mom, my Yaya Anna's birthday. And so I was talking to her, I was praying to her, I was like, Yaya Anna, please just give me a sign that this baby is coming. I cannot wait any longer because although I practice yoga, I am impatient at times. So just like that. I was feeling extremely anxious to have this baby. So I get out of the shower and I go into the family room. At this point, it was about like 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, Dada was there and he was eating his ice cream. And I said, okay, I'm tired, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I stand up and all of a sudden I feel my water start to break. And I run to the bathroom and I knew it, my water had just broke. I said, babe, my water just broke. And he comes running into the bathroom, still half a spoon of ice cream in his mouth. And he said, this is the best thing ever. So he was all excited. I immediately reacted, I just started shaking. And that is just my natural body reaction. I couldn't stop shaking. I probably was shaking for about 15 to 20 minutes. So while I was shaking, I was calling my mom, I was calling my best friend and just letting them know what happened. My mom was like, so calm as usual. She was like, just wait. Call the doctor as they said. So I called the doctor. He's like, what time is it? I'm like, well, sorry. I said, sorry, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, my water broke. He's like, okay, I'll meet you, it's your first baby. I'll meet you in the hospital at, around 6, 7 a.m. I'm like, okay. So at this point, he told me to get some rest. That is a joke. We did not sleep. Let me rephrase that. I did not sleep that whole night because I was too excited. The contractions were easy breezy. I thought if this was labor, this is gonna be no problem. I'm so excited to meet this baby. Morning rolls around and I get a hold of my mom. She comes over. She helps me labor at home for a little while, which felt nothing but like slight cramps here and there. They weren't coming quick at all. So I had stayed home for about 12 hours at this point laboring, but we knew we had to get to the hospital because they recommend that if your water does break, you wanna have the baby within 24 hours so that you don't risk infection. So we got to the hospital. We first checked in. They just wanted to look and see, how far dilated I was. At this point, I was only 3 centimeters dilated. This one's being a little chatterbox this whole time. You wanna go in your jumper? Yeah? Wasn't feeling much at all, but I did have back labor. The nurse immediately told me at the time that I was probably going to have a breech baby and might need a C-section. That kind of devastated me. The midwife that came in then checked me and she said, no, your baby is head down. You just coincidentally had back labor. So for all the moms that think that if you have back labor, then your baby is breech, it is not true. I had back labor the entire time and my baby's head was down, ready to go. So because I had waited so long to get to the hospital, there was not much change and it was my first baby, the doctor recommended Pitocin, which increases your labor and contractions. And boy, did it increase them. The pain started to get insane. The pain is just out of body experience. And everybody's pain level is different, so I'm not going to tell you that that's how you're going to feel. So I'm going through labor. I for sure thought, well, I have to be 10 centimeters. This is getting bad. My best friend Connie was in the room, Demo, my husband, was in the room, and my mom. So they're asking the nurse for me, is she at 7? I'm guessing she's at 7 centimeters dilated. I'm guessing she's at 10. And the nurse comes in laughing, looking at me, and she's like, if I could guess, maybe she's at 3, maybe she's at 4 centimeters dilated. So that's when my heart just sank. And I was like, this is going to be really hard. It was around 9 o'clock at night at this point. The contractions were coming hard, they were coming fast. Every time I would get a contraction, I would just remove myself and take deep breaths, stare at my mom, who was just staring at me with bug eyes, just motivating me. My husband was motivating me, telling me, keep breathing. My best friend Connie was trying to make me laugh the entire time.
Kaliana, I'm so sorry I'm looking at your vagina right now. I think I'm really close.
Honestly, I was so out of body at this point. There's not much I remember. It felt kind of like waves coming in and out of the contractions. I would ride that wave of super intensity and then I would just kind of settle out. And every time I would have that wave of a contraction, I'd have my husband and my mom and Connie and just squeeze my back really hard. And the way I explain this to people is it's kind of like if you get cut, and you hold the wound really tight to keep the blood from going and you kind of cut off circulation so you don't feel the pain as much. That's what it kind of felt like. They were squeezing it so hard that I didn't feel the pain as much. At this point, I could not talk. Again, my birth plans were thrown out the window. My mom, I think she looked at me once and said, are you sure you don't want an epidural? I had this incredible nurse come in and she was encouraging me not to get the epidural. Kept riding those waves, and again, I wasn't making any sound. I would hit the bed really hard when I knew the contractions was coming. My mom knew that meant jump into action, press on her back, and then they would let go, and this was happening. Yes, and this happened for hours. So finally, they checked me. I was 10 centimeters dilated. I was ready to push this 8-pound baby out. And I was so exhausted at that point. It felt like I had just ran a marathon. I just laid there. Just take the baby from me. Just take her out of me. At this point, you'll see in the hospital me attempting to push.
Do that again. Take a deep breath in. Don't blow the air out.
Do you hear her? Don't blow the air out.
Grab behind your legs.
Let's do it. You do 3 pushes per contraction, okay? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You want to hold that push for 10 seconds.
So what's funny is being a yogi, right? I thought when you breathe during a contraction was very similar to you breathing while you push, and it's 2 very different things. When you breathe during a contraction, right, you are trying to breathe extremely heavy and powerful to get through the pain. When you push, you're trying to breathe in, hold your breath, and push something out. As you can see, I did not really understand the concept of breathing while pushing. I was breathing in, breathing out, and I needed to hold my breath and push with my body and less with my breath.
So listen to deep breath.
Hold your breath.
Hold your breath and push for 10 seconds and then you let it out. Okay?
Alright.
Only when you're having a contraction though. If you're not feeling it, I don't want you to push.
This took an hour of straight pushing, and I pushed so hard that I popped all the blood vessels in my face and I had no idea. As you can see, my husband was being extremely supportive. He was trying to talk me through it, shaking like a leaf like he was. My mom and my best friend were trying to make me smile, but honestly, I wanted nothing but to concentrate on getting this baby out.
And then we're gonna lift this down and put the baby on there. Are you ready?
Demo, are you ready? You're outstanding over there.
My mother-in-law was just recovering from surgery at home, so we FaceTimed her in for the entire thing.
You hearing this?
Where's all of our music
You
at?
hearing this? You said. Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Behind your leg.
So after about 45 minutes of pushing, I saw my mom sit down out of the corner of my eye and she started to get emotional. She thought after all this hard work of a natural labor, well, no epidural, that I was going to need a C-section. If it took me 45 minutes to an hour, she thought there was no way I was gonna get this baby out. Finally, after an hour, which I heard now, talking to the doctors, this is common for a first-time mom, I finally was able to push her out. I don't know how it happened, a miracle. She came out. They put her on my chest and immediately she calmed from crying, which was the most beautiful thing you can experience as a new mom, is just how your baby remembers your heartbeat and your heartbeat only. And when your heartbeat can calm their heartbeat, it's an incredible thing.
Alright, let's push. For real this time.
Yep. Right,
Relax.
push. Right there, right there, right.
The beautiful part about not getting an epidural was how quickly I felt like I recovered, and I was able to leave the hospital within 24 hours. So again, mama, if you're about to have a baby for the first time and you don't know if you're gonna do natural or epidural or C-section, just know that every birth story is a beautiful one. As long as you're healthy and baby's healthy, that's all that matters. Thanks so much for watching this video. It's mostly for this little one to see when she grows up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next yoga video. Bye-bye.